All right, personification. What does it mean again? Giving non-human human characteristics. So let's read the poem. It's very short. But let's see if you can figure out what the human characteristic is given in this situation. So the title is Fog. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. What is the fog being compared to? Winsheen.
Like a person looking over the harbor.
Not a person. Owen.
A cat.
A cat. The fog comes on little cat feet. How would you explain a cat? Who has a cat, first of all, that will be able to understand? A cat compared to a dog. How would you compare how a cat walks to a dog? I have both. Very, very different. Jeremiah, how would you explain the difference between how Liberty walks versus one of your cats?
Different.
In what way? Now, when Liberty walks into the room or walks down a hall, if you have a wood hall or tile hall, can you hear? Liberty's a boy, right? Or girl? Girl. Can you hear her walking?
Yes.
Does she kind of plod down the hall in a loud way?
She like scrapes her claws on the carpet and tile.
What about your cat? One of your cats. Can you hear your cat coming down the hall? No. So what is the big difference between how a dog walks and a cat walks?
The dog walks louder.
Yes.
Cat walks quieter.
Yes, cats are very stealthy.
They're like cat ninjas.
They like to sneak up on you and jump at you.
Yeah, like Mr. Claus. These are not mine. Sounds like Mia.
So, yeah, it is Mia.
Sounds like Mr. Claus.
So the fog comes on little cat feet. Does that mean the fog comes loudly or quietly? Yes. So the fog comes in quietly. It does. Have you ever seen fog come in? It just kind of quietly drifts in and just hovers. So I like it sits over harbor and city on silent haunches. What does that mean? Haunches. That is another descriptive of a cat when it sits on its haunches. Owen. So who has ever seen a cat lay down when it's kind of laying down, but yet it looks like it's ready to pounce on something? So he or she is on all fours, kind of hunkered down, but the back legs are ready to jump. That's what it means by his cat on silent haunches and then moves on. Do you get the impression that the fog is very kind of quiet and mysterious, not real sure what it's going to do? Which is descriptive of a cat. Cat is quiet. How else would you describe a cat? Determine that they walk quiet. What else about a cat? Why do you think Carl Sandburg used a cat to describe the fog? If you ever think of fog, like this morning when I was driving into work, there was fog, and it just kind of very quietly was drifting around like lower areas of the terrain, and just kind of staying there. Why do you think Carl Sandburg used a cat to describe the fog, McKenna?
Cats like to stay by you and fog stay for a while, and they're really hard to see. They'll sneak up on you.
Very good. But yet when a cat decides to stay by you and jump on you and sit down, it stays for a while. Cats kind of do what they want to do, don't they?
Yeah.
Dogs are more, they're not as independent as a cat. Cats like to do their own thing. And I get the feeling that the fog, that's why Carl Sandburg chose the fog and the cat descriptive. Cats are mysterious. They're quiet. What else do cats like to do? Do dogs like to, do you ever see a dog sneaking up on you
No.
quietly,
No.
hunting and stalking you?
No.
No, I've never seen Axel do that. He could never do that because he gets too excited. What about a cat? Have you ever seen a cat stalk its prey? Or a cat stalk, period? Are they quiet or are they loud? Yes. So the fog is like a cat because it's quiet. It kind of stalks and lingers. What about a cat? Does a cat just sit and watch? It says, it sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. Who's ever seen a cat kind of stalk, sit, and just watch with their big eyes, staring at you? Kind of borderline creepy. So I get the impression that the fog is just sitting there watching, like a giant white cat watching what is going on below. They're not talking about Mia. She's a fruitcake. So here we go. What we're going to do, what I want you to do is, first of all, I want you to draw a picture to go along with this poem. Use your imagination. You can read the poem over, but I want you to draw an illustration to explain, and then I want you to write a little sentence to explain your picture. So the fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches, and then moves on. Yes, Helen?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we have to write a sentence?
Yes. I want you to draw an illustration, and it doesn't have to, it could just be one little sentence. It doesn't have to be a long, I'm not talking a paragraph, I'm talking a descriptive. I mean, you could even, friends, take a part of the poem that you want to draw and just draw that underneath or write that underneath your drawing. So let's say you're drawing the cat on, the fog comes on little cat feet. If you want to draw it and then write that sentence underneath your drawing. Yes. You were supposed to do that before class. Yes, hurry. Jonathan,
Are we already on the flag?
you are drawing a picture of this poem. You're illustrating this poem. That is what you're doing. finish up, I have another part that I want you to do. What's the natural element in this poem? What is it? What is the title? That is the natural element. Grant. Yeah. So natural element is sun, fog, rain, wind. So what I want you to do is pick a natural element of your choice. And then I want you to pick an animal to go with it and rewrite the poem. So you can have a horse, you can have a fish, you can have a dog, you can have any animal you want. So rewrite, instead of the fog comes on little cat feet, the fire comes on giant horse hooves or whatever. Do not use that, please. That's mine. But pick a natural element, whatever you want. It could be fire, water, wind, rain, thunder, lightning, anything. And then rewrite it using a different animal to describe that, to personify that. All right? It can go exactly like this. Huh? I know. So you choose one animal and rewrite your poem. So if it's whatever natural element is, you can write that by your name. So fire by Mrs. Reed. The fire comes on giant horse hooves. But you can't write that. That's mine. So I'm just using that as an example. All right? So there you go. You can finish the poem by using your version of natural element and animal.